Billy Ho here. Welcome to Billy Ho Sports. This week we head to Cleveland, Ohio to Thistledown for the Ohio Derby. We'll have an 8-horse field for the race. The race will be run at a mile and an eighth, and a pretty solid field, I think, in my opinion. And so we're going to analyze the 8 horses, come up, point out the favorites and point out the tosses, and try to put some betting strategy together for this race. Appreciate you, everybody, joining me. Kind of went through a little lull there after the Belmont, probably some Triple Crown hangovers, but we're back at it for another exciting Derby week to our neighbors to the north. So appreciate everybody joining me. Please, if you haven't already done so, subscribe to the channel, smash the like button, leave a comment down below, and let me know, other than, say, the top 2 choices, who do you got to maybe crash the party at the Ohio Derby? And let's get it started. Okay, we're going to start with the number 1 horse, Henry Q, trained by Doug O'Neill, 5-1 morning line odds. Kendrick Carmouche will ride. And third place finish in last month's Peter Pan caused Doug O'Neill to want to get this horse back. So it was claimed back in February by Todd Fincher, but he reclaimed him after that third place finish at the Peter Pan, and we're just kind of taking a look at it. He was a pretty significantly far back third place, also ran. So not really too much of a threat to Bishop's Bay or Archangelo. So, I don't think I can see him keeping up with the likes of Two Fills or Bishop's Bay. He wins at 7 furlongs, and then he wins at a mile and a 16th. But then he runs his last 2 races at a mile and an eighth and weakens down the stretch. So to me, that's kind of one that I'm likely to pass on. I might try to do some deeper diving into him and to see if I can fit him in there somewhere. But as of right now, he's on the outside looking in as far as my exotics go. The 2 horse is Times a Tappin', trained by Lori Loudon Smith and ridden by Kevin Gonzalez. Ran in some allowance races here at the home track, but his speed figures are way below the average for this group. So he's likely a toss. So now we're going to get into some of the meat of the race here. And this one is Bishop's Bay. And he was the runner-up by head bob to Archangelo. And we all know what Archangelo did coming back in the Belmont Stakes for that huge victory. So he ran heads up with Archangelo in this race. And we all know, what happens there. So Belmont Stakes win for Archangelo. And now we're moving to Ohio Derby for this Brad Cox late blooming star. He'll be the 3-1 choice. And we are going to get Florent Geroux on this mount. His pressing style should work well here at Thistledown, I think. He should be in position to move forward off of that 101 Brisnet speed rating here. So I think if he can improve on that, he's going to be right there. So he's a top 2 choice, obviously, and he might actually, I don't know, tip the scales a little bit more in my favor over Two Fills. I don't know. But we're going to move on to Two Fills. He's the 4 horse, Larry Ravelli training, and Jareth Loveberry is the jock. And we all know he's monster effort in the Kentucky Derby, only to be thwarted down the stretch by Mage. But man, and like I said in previous videos, whenever I rewatch these things, I always see something I missed the last time around. And boy, did I miss this one. And I suppose it was because I was looking at other horses, like the Mages of the world and the Derby horses that ran in Tappet Trices and whatnot, hit shows. So Two Fills hadn't ran, so I guess I wasn't looking at this race for Two Fills. But the inside move that the jockey made in this race coming around, you're looking at it right now. He cuts inside, and you don't even see him doing it almost. And then all of a sudden, he's in the lead, and he's clear. Really did everything he should have done to win the race. Loveberry has ridden this horse almost every single time he's been out. So he knows this horse inside and out, and he will have him up on the pace. And so I look for FloJo to get these guys going. I'd say probably doesn't need the exact race he ran in the Derby to win here. Probably 90% of that race, in my opinion, could probably get it done. That would probably put him right alongside Bishop's Bay. And I think those two will be racing alongside of each other because they are similar pressing styles. But we'll look out for those two from the very get-go. The 5-horse, Agnello's Dream, trained by Jeffrey Scarrett and ridden by Eric Barbaran. Another also toss for me, honestly. It seems like a long shot, 20-1. Allowance horse, running in $29,000 allowance races and finishing third, a mile and 70. He might actually like the distance though. So that could be intriguing if they're stretching him out to, working him up to stretch him out here. So maybe it could be a long shot, but it would be a giant step forward for that horse to compete with this lot. So, but I might keep a one eye open on this horse just to see what kind of improvements he makes off running the longer distance. And the next one, Last Cookies, number 6 horse, trained by Joanna Urita and ridden by Leandro Breseno. I hope I'm saying that right. But another allowance horse seems to run pretty decent at a mile. Maybe likes the distance. I don't know. But it seems to weaken at a mile last time out at Thistledown. So not likely. Another toss. I want to get to another horse real quick. I didn't want to keep you guys too long. Lord Miles, stud, Wood Memorial stud, 59 and change to 1 upset over Hit Show. We're looking at it going down the stretch. I wanted to see it one more time. And it was just like those 3 horses. And the Lord Miles got the head bob over Hit Show in that race, but a 99 speed rating. If he were able to improve off that, would put him right in the mix. He's probably in the mix anyway. But to me, it's going to be a tough road because he's coming up on that 70 plus days off territory. And that 99 was probably the peak, his best race he'll ever run. I might be wrong about that, but it just seems to me that way because, like I said, and before he got scratched from the Derby, and if you remember, that was the unfortunate Saffie Joseph drama with this couple of sudden deaths, and then Wild on Ice, and all hell kind of broke loose. They kicked Saffie Joseph out of the barns. So actually, Lord Miles was forced to scratch from the Derby for really no particular reason. He didn't have an injury or anything. It was like the abundance of caution and that whole ordeal with the Saffie Joseph barn. But I think they've righted the ship on that. I don't think too negatively about this start, but it's going to be a monster. I mean, I don't see how he can back up that effort, especially off of a layoff. I know it's not that long of a layoff, but it is borderline. So I'm going to put him not quite out of the mix just yet because I think he can close, but probably 4th choice, maybe somewhere in that neighborhood. But to wrap things up, Hayes Strike was kind of an interesting horse. I heard a little bit about. Won the Texas Derby. We're going to show that to you now. Coming out of nowhere, I'm sitting here waiting on him to do something. Your number 1 horse is basically off the screen until they hit the stretch here, coming down the stretch. And then all of a sudden he hits his stride and almost too little too late, but somehow he gets his head up. I don't know how he got this win because it really didn't look like he got there in first look, but I guess he did. Obviously, it's been a long time since it's been over. So, but he's 6-1, ridden by Christian Torres. Kenny McPeak's trained horse. So I trust Kenny McPeak to have him ready to go. 95 speed rating. If he improves off that, could be in the mix. Could be interesting to say the least, the way he closed in the Texas Derby, because that would be the one way to steal this race, is coming from nowhere and with just a monster gallop, and you have two horses like Two Fills and Bishop's Bay dueling it out, and they don't see Hayes Strike coming from the outside with some kind of monster run. But if he doesn't hit his stride, he's finishing last, because he's seventh, he's ninth, he wins, he's fourth, he's third. You know, he's got seconds in here, then seventh. So if he doesn't get that late burst, it looks like he's just no menace. So to wrap things up, we're going to head on over to the betting card here and take a look at some exactas and some trifectas. And so for an exacta, I think what I might want to do, and this is kind of my first idea of doing this. So bear with me just a second. Okay, let's figure this thing out real quick. So we know 3 and 4. So we're going to box them. And then I'll uncheck that so we can add more. So if my first glance is correct, it's going to be between these two. So I put these two on top. Now, the next one, like the horse I just talked about, Hayes Strike, could close for a piece. Lord Miles could close for a piece. The other ones, I don't think so. Henry Q, possibly. But that would be your bet. And actually, that's like an $8 bet right there. So if you want to throw one more in for 12, that's not a bad bet. 2 over 4. And then maybe you hope Bishop's Bay goes off at 3-1 again or something like that, 7-2 in that range. And then you can maybe get paid off if the 8 horse comes in, Hayes Strike comes in second. So that would be like the exacta type bet I would make. I think my win bet will probably lean right now Bishop's Bay. I just think that horse looked really, really good against the Belmont Stakes winner. And I know Two Fills, I underestimated him big time in the Kentucky Derby, and he ran lights out in that race. So did Rich Strike. So it's going to be hard to judge if Two Fills is going to muster up the energy again. So I'm just going to give a slight edge to Bishop's Bay right now. And then over here for a trifecta, it was 3 and it's 4. And we're going to do 3, 4, 3, 4. And then you can throw in like an 8 and possibly 1 down here for third. Obviously, Lord Miles. And I believe Agnello's Dream was the 5 horse. That was one that might be slightly interested if it takes to the longer distance. So there you have it. There's a $16 ticket for $1 trifecta bet. Pretty cheap route. Key in the 2 or wheeling the 2 on top there. But if you've got another idea, leave a comment and see where you're going, because I like what some guys are doing. In the comments, they're leaving bets down and how they feel about those bets, and keep those coming. I hope you guys get re-engaged for the Ohio Derby, because it looks like it's going to be a really, really good race. And it could be 2 horses heading towards, I don't know, Breeders' Cup in the fall, maybe the Classic, maybe another race. So until the next video, appreciate you watching. Stay engaged. Subscribe to the channel, smash the like. See you soon.